Guys, this is going to be a brief tutorial about how to manage port security on your Cisco device. What is port security? Limiting and controlling who or what has access to the specific ports and what policies govern those ports. Okay. In this example, we're going to use this 24 port, it's like a 2950 switch. See, if I hover over it, I see that I have 24 ports. Well, I'm going to manage the security on, let's try this guy over here. We'll do that one. I believe that one's plugged into port 3 of our Cisco device. And you see fast Ethernet 0/3 is up, so it's plugged into that guy right there. Okay, so I guess let's get started. I have two computers over here to the left, and then down below it I have another PC that's consoled into the switch. So if we go into the switch here, okay, and then I want to get into fast Ethernet on port fast Ethernet 0/3. So I'm going to go into that. Well, I'm going to get into there first. I got to get into config mode. Okay. And I'm going to go into what I'm doing here is I'm going to get into fast Ethernet 0/3. Fast Ethernet 0/3. Okay. Now I'm in Ethernet, my interface right here. Okay. Now, first thing I need to do is set switch port mode access. It can either be access or trunk. Access pretty much connects things like clients, servers, printers, routers, etc. Trunk is pretty much it doesn't. Port security does not work on a trunk. And basically what a trunk is like a cable going from one switch to another switch. Okay? You don't really want to enable, because you really don't want to enable port security on a trunk, even if you could, because nobody can really get access, or they're assuming nobody can really get access to trunk. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is go switch port mode access. Okay. Well, like I said, what that's going to do is just going to start, it's going to tell it that this is basically that it's not a trunk. Okay. Alright, then we want to control how many people have access to this port. Okay, well, let's just do one. So we're going to type in switch port security maximum. I'm a really slow typer, so Switchport port security mode 1. So that's telling it that there is only going to be one device allowed to be on this port. You can set it up to 5020, but there's really no reason to go that high. You can put 2 or 3 devices. Maybe you have different laptops need to go from, have access to that port or whatnot. But I'm just going to do one this time. Alright, next we want to what happens if a policy is violated? Somebody connects to the port and they shouldn't be there. Somebody brings their Xbox into work, or a laptop from home that really has no reason being there. It's not allowed. So what happens there is a violation happens. So our next, basically you got three types of violations. You got a shutdown, which will shut down the port as soon as a policy is violated, and it's the default. You got protect, which ignores the violating MAC address. Okay, so it just won't even, it doesn't even acknowledge that rogue laptop is connected. Then you have restrict, okay, which pretty much does the same thing as protect, except that it also generates a system log message. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and enable that. We're going to use shutdown in this case. So we're going to go switch port security. Switch port security. And then you're going to type in violation. Okay. And then what kind of violation? Well, it's going to be those three that we talked about earlier. Shutdown, protect, or restrict. So let's see. Oops. Do that. So I use my question mark there, and you can see those are our choices: protect, restrict, and shutdown. Well, I'm going to use shutdown. Okay. Alright. Next, we want to, what MAC addresses are allowed on this port. Okay. So you got a pretty cool one that is pretty popular that people like to use. You can either use your MAC address. Here, I'll show you. Let me type in the command and I'll pull up a question mark. Switchport port security. Switchport port security. And you're gonna type in MAC address. Okay. Now if I do a question mark here. Let's type in, I should have typed in, let me do port security here. Yeah, I typed it right. Okay. Mac, I think, anyway. There it is. So you can either put in a MAC address in this format right here, or we can use this command called sticky. And that's the one I'm going to use. Sticky basically states that whatever what is ever there plugged into that port right now is the MAC address we're going to use. Okay, let that be the MAC address allowed. So, once that could be tricky. All right, so we're just use sticky there. But it's not all enabled yet. So what we want to do next is we want to actually enable the port security. Okay? So all we did was configure it. Now the way to enable it is type in switch port security. Type that in, hit enter. There it is. It's set up. Alright, so left off was, I believe we finished setting that up. What we'll do now is we'll do a little bit of verification here. Okay, so go in here, turn in my passwords again, enable. Okay, so one of the things we can do to verify that port security is enabled is first we can do is show port security. Show port security, and you'll see we have fast Ethernet 0/3. We have a maximum count of one address. There's one there. There's no violations, and if there is a violation, it will go into shutdown. Okay. We can also do this. Show port security address. This will show. Okay, so VLAN 1. This is the MAC address right there of what's connected to it. how it got that MAC address through sticky, and that's the port. Okay, and one more thing we could do is get rid of address, and we'll type in interface fast Ethernet 0/3, and this has a little bit more. Good summary here. That's our port. They're showing port security is enabled, port secure up, violation mode, shutdown, aging time, aging type absolute. Let's see, maximum address is 1. Total MAC addresses they're now 1. The MAC address, the last MAC address that was on there is 1. And how many violations we've had so far is 0. So anyway, that's how you set up manage port security. Alright, thanks.